Taking a look now at the healthcare sector, we had several earnings out this morning. Pfizer beating expectations and raising its outlook. Meantime, Merck updated forecasts that trailed analyst estimates. So for more on what could be in store for the broader healthcare space, we've got Meghan Fitzgerald, Grey Ghost Advisors private equity investor. Meghan, it's great to speak with you this morning. So before we dig into the individual tickers, I just want to get your broad view here, and then we'll go smaller. Guest after guest has come on telling us, look for opportunity in the healthcare space amid this AI-driven market rally. Are the earnings that we've gotten in so far from some of these healthcare names bolstering that view, in your opinion?
Yes, I'm extremely bullish on biopharma for a few reasons. One, there's been $1 billion in deals this year so far. The majority of big pharma trade below the S&P 500's forward 2025 multiple of 20. For example, BMS is less than 8 times. So what we're seeing is investors want to take risk, but they're expecting outside returns. I also think regardless of the election, the market is poised to perform well because of the baseline fundamentals, the science. And for the first time, I'm seeing equal interest in specialty medicine and rare diseases and big primary care indications like we're seeing in obesity. And on top of it, there seems to be a halo effect. 50% of the life science deals this year were done in life science services. So there's also a symbiotic industry of all these companies that help biopharma. So I think we're sitting very, very well for those that want to partake in this industry.
So then, Meghan, what does that tell us about the two results that we've gotten here today, this morning? We have Pfizer and we have Merck. At least when you take a look at what we saw this most recent quarter, you could argue, obviously, strength on both sides. Yet we're seeing Pfizer move to the upside. We're seeing Merck under a bit of pressure. A lot of that has to do with the outlook that we got here. Actually, Pfizer's down too, but for Merck, a lot of that pressure due to some of the outlook that we got here on their profit. I'm curious what that tells you then, or does this signal at all maybe some investor trepidation about the uncertainty that at least is ahead here in the short term?
Yeah, well, I think one stat that always blows me away, just to compare and contrast, the top 5 tech companies are worth $13 trillion as of July. Top 5 healthcare companies are worth $28 trillion, but yet the GDP in healthcare dwarfs what we see in tech. So I think, we tend to just perform and you see the science. I think a lot of what's going on in tech has been a lot of investment, but we really haven't seen the ROI of that investment. Speaking directly to Pfizer, I think Pfizer's equity value has fallen 50% since its 2021 peak. Today, and their story gave them a chance to highlight a strategy past COVID, which they deserve a lot of credit for. And I think they did a good job telling the story this morning. As you said, Q2 revenue, adjusted earnings blew past expectations. And there were 3 areas, I think, to focus on for their growth and pivot beyond being a COVID company. First of all, there was an enormous amount of cost cutting, $4 billion in 2024. They said that they would add another 1.5 cost cutting by 2027 to really focus on, I think, oncology and a cardiovascular franchise. So the core business rose 14% on an operating basis when you take out COVID. And also the COVID franchise put up, I think, $8.5 billion in revenue themselves. So it's not like the COVID franchise has fallen away. It's just coming off really, really large numbers. Pfizer also said they're going to do $20 billion in revenue on its own and $25 billion from their acquisitions. So I think what you're seeing from Pfizer is they're well positioned to execute on what they've already acquired with Seagen. And then you're also seeing, I think, a strong cardiovascular franchise from their cardiomyopathy drug as well as their blood thinner drug. And remember, this is the company that brought you Lipitor. So I think on any given Sunday, they can kind of flex into their roots and do more in the cardiometabolic space if they so chose.
Meghan, I want to switch gears a little bit and talk to you about GLP-1s. When you are evaluating investment opportunities that could be beneficiaries of the GLP-1 growth and expansion, what is the biggest thing that you are looking at to kind of pick which individuals may be the winners of this era?
Oh, gosh, I think we're in the early innings of what this could be. Right now, We're talking about poly indications for the GLPs and the GIPs. We're talking about maybe having an oral, maybe having it once a week. We're not even finished with what the mode of delivery will be for the current indications. And then this week, based on some good reporting you saw from Yahoo, even just this morning at the Alzheimer's meeting down in Philadelphia, we saw some data coming out of, some possible work with these compounds in Alzheimer's. So I think this is a big class of drugs that we're also now going to see directed at other indications. And 4 of the 5 top life science companies right now by market cap have an obesity product. So that's Lilly, Novo, Amgen, and Regeneron. So this is its whole other sector. I mean, short of what we see with tech, Lilly and Novo by market cap have really come on to look like completely different companies because of these franchises. So I think we can't really underestimate the power of what this space could be and what the impact will be on public health and markets going forward.
All right, Meghan Fitzgerald, Grey Ghost Advisors, private equity investor. Thanks so much for hopping on with us here this morning.